All right, so what I'd like to start with first, and the crowd isn't quite as diverse as it could be, but I just wanted to check in and see how many of you have heard about redox signaling. You want to raise your hands if you have? All right, everybody, that's a shocker. Have you heard of antioxidants? You've heard of those too. Well, I'm going to show you a really simple and yet a really easy way how we are going to be bringing to market a very duplicatable method for a breakthrough technology. So let me share my screen. Oops, here we go. Oh, we have someone else joining us. Right here, I'm going to invite, well, I'm going to just be really transparent. I forgot to do something first, so I'm going to stop my share so I can start over. And there's a way that if I can optimize the sound, which will make it much more enjoyable for everybody. So here we go. Can you see it? Because I can't see it. Now I've tricked myself.
Screen sharing, but it hasn't shared any particular screen yet.
Huh, hold on. I've got to find out what I did. Well, there it is.
Hello, Marilee.
You know, when you go to get everything set up and then it disappears, you know you've done something that you've never done before.
Yep, it's amazing. It's wonderful.
It is an incredible experience. So,
share again.
Welcome, Marilee.
Hi.
Hi. We're just getting started, and I'm going to share my screen so you can get to preview a video with us.
Maybe we
I'm sorry, can you unmute? I didn't hear what you were saying.
It's unmute now.
Okay, I call Rosalina.
Okay, I'll mute.
Okay. Here we got Mary coming in too. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Are you able to see the?
No, you got it.
All right. So here we go. When you come to this site, you'll want to make sure, I'll show the website again. It's realredoxresults.biz, B-I-Z, and there's a password. It's Redox, all lowercase, R-E-D-O-X. And when you come here, there's several different testimonials you can preview, but I'd like to share this opportunity with you here. So if you notice any questions you have, please note them down because there'll be an opportunity to ask about them later. But now for your viewing pleasure, let me start this.
Hello and welcome to the ASEA Opportunity. My name is Alan Noble and I've been a home-based entrepreneur for almost 30 years. In this short video, I'm going to introduce you to an opportunity to create a significant residual income by taking advantage of what some experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime, brought to you by a company called ASEA. The breakthrough is called ASEA Redox, a health and anti-aging technology that represents a new category in health science that is 10 to 15 years ahead of its time, a technology that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. A high-impact technology that gets astonishing, life-changing results. Protected with patents and trade secrets, we have no competition, no copycats. No other company in the world has anything like it. No one. And ASEA Redox is validated by third-party independent science, and yet it is still the best kept secret in health, as most people don't even know this technology exists. Does that sound like opportunity to you? Now, if you're already familiar with the ASEA Redox technology, then consider the next couple of minutes a quick recap. However, if this is your first introduction to ASEA, then allow me to explain. To grasp the ASEA Redox breakthrough, you must first understand that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells are passing tremendous amounts of information to keep your body running at optimal health. Any breakdown in this vital communication, in this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health potential. Imagine your home's on fire. You call the fire department. They've got the big red truck, the firefighters, the fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. But what if you have a bad cell signal? They don't get the message. Your home goes up in smoke. It's the same in your body. If your cells can't signal, little else matters. Now, up until now, the multi-billion-dollar supplement industry has put all of their focus and attention on the fire truck. Vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, exotic juices, essential oils, and CBD oils. No one is focusing on the critical cell signal until now. ASEA Redox is the world's first and only cell signaling supplement. For the first time, we can amplify and clarify this critical cell signal, and the difference it's making in people's lives is absolutely astonishing. This signaling technology is empowering people to feel better than ever before, helping folks with challenges they may have had for decades, proving to be the missing link to better health and vitality. And it's not just health. Casual athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. And with Renew 28, our topical cell signaling gel, seeing is believing, resulting in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging. And when applied to sore joints or muscles, we often see dramatic improvement in 5 minutes or less. And as I said earlier, this astonishing technology has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there's nothing else like it in the world. So at this point, allow me to share a little of the story behind the breakthrough. The founders of ASEA, Vertus Norton and his son Tyler, were both extremely well-respected corporate strategists working with several multi-billion-dollar companies. They had bought an unfinished version of this technology from a struggling biotech company. They brought in a team of brilliant scientists led by an atomic medical physicist, and soon they achieved their breakthrough. They stabilized the technology that science had said was impossible. The goal now was to simply sell their new technology to the pharmaceutical industry and walk away. However, knowing that their product was 100% safe with 0 levels of toxicity, they started 40 people using the product. Many of these people began getting remarkable results, and they naturally started sharing it with others. And soon there were 135 people in 20 countries benefiting from the breakthrough. Soon a pharmaceutical company put in a multi-million-dollar offer, but with one condition. Every single person drinking the product had to stop, regardless of the life-changing benefits they might have been experiencing. So it's important for you to know that the founders of ASEA made a principled, purpose-driven decision and said no to the massive payout and yes to the health and welfare of this small group of people. So what now? They have something that people deserve to know about. But how do we tell the world that this powerful technology exists? Both Vertus and Tyler knew that their cutting-edge technology would require a little education and personal experience. They'd also seen that when people benefited from the product, they naturally would share it with others. So they chose word of mouth, referral marketing, network marketing. And this opens up tremendous financial opportunity for people like you and me. Someone who wants to build an exciting residual income while having a positive impact on the lives of others, making a living while making a difference. Now here's a quick summary of our success so far. Officially launched in 2010, we're a legacy-focused, debt-free company. We own and operate our FDA-registered, NSF-certified manufacturing facility. We operate 18 distribution centers and ship to over 30 countries in North America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. We've achieved over $800 million in sales, paying out $350 million in commissions, positively impacting tens of thousands of people's lives, both physically and financially. To give you a better idea what is possible with the ASEA opportunity, here is a snapshot of our income disclosure statement, showing monthly average incomes at different levels of success. Now, of course, like any business, there's no guarantee of income, and these results are based on consistent effort, perseverance, and dedication. However, the fact is, we have people earning great part-time incomes, full-time incomes, Plan B incomes, all the way to very significant lifestyle incomes, inducting over 35 members into our elite $1 Million Earners Club, and the best is yet to come. You see, ASEA wisely spent the first decade laying a foundation for long-term success. In 2020, we achieved global sales of 180 million, and we're on track to triple the size of the business in the next 5 years, taking the company to $500 million in annual revenue, and in doing so, paying out $1 billion in commissions to those who choose to partner with us. I think you'll agree that everything is in place for your success. A financially rock-solid, ethical, principle-based company. A patented protected breakthrough in health that is changing lives, and yet most people don't even know it exists. A generous compensation structure where you can generate a significant residual income. And perfect timing, where we are post-risk, but we still have most of our exciting growth ahead. And of course, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself, with unlimited training and support from like-minded entrepreneurs who have already experienced success. Getting started in ASEA is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, visit the Team ASEA website of the person that introduced you to this video and click on the Join button. Step 2, choose one of our discounted enrollment packs and become a product of the product. Step 3, opt in for our very user-friendly autoship that can be cancelled at any time. And with autoship, you start to earn valuable loyalty reward points that can be cashed in for free product. I want to thank you for your time today and watching this short video. If you'd like to learn more about the business model of network marketing and how the money's made, then take a few minutes and watch the next video. You'll also find on this site lots of short testimonial videos of people around the world sharing their experience with the ASEA business opportunity. And finally, if you'd like to dig deeper into the ASEA Redox breakthrough and how it's impacting people's lives, then I encourage you to visit our sister site, www.railredoxresults.com, where you can watch a short overview and listen to real people sharing real Redox results. This is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and I want to wish you all the success that you believe you deserve. And bye for now.
Okay. So I just want to do a little recap here. I want to acknowledge that in that video, we got to hear the summary of the Genesis story, where Vertus, he sat on the board and they were able to stabilize the product. And then they shared it with 40 different members of society to see if they would drink the product. So if we were all together in person, right now, I'd get Ruth to fill up these little cups and we'd go around and everybody would get to take a taste. And when people use the product, within 30 days, 50% of the people get results. And about 90% of the people get results in 90 days. But as everybody goes around and takes a test and we ask them, what does it taste like? We get all kinds of different answers. Some people think it tastes like hydrogen peroxide. Others think it tastes like chlorine or salt water or pool water, or it just tastes bad. But why do you think everybody gets a different result? Why does it taste different when it all comes out of the same bottle? Well, the answer to that is because everybody's body chemistry is different. But what does it tell you when there's a group of 40 people that grew to 135 people in 20 countries in 2 months? What I'd like to take time now is to share a little bit with you of what this technology has done for some other people. So let me share my screen again. make sure I actually have my visuals available before I share. Not sure why they disappear on me. But here we go. Are you able to see the screen?
Gotcha.
Thanks. So Ruth, would you share your testimony?
Yeah, so I learned about ASEA through Gloria, and I had been looking for something for anti-aging and scarring. And so what I noticed is that my skin started looking more healthy, more firm, and especially around my eyes and around my cheeks, they got firmer, and the skin around my eyes got thicker. The other reason I was really looking for this was because my son has had chronic acne since he was like 12 or 13. And he had intensive scarring. And on the picture on the right is the first day he started. And you can see the dark scars, and you can see some of the acne that's still there. And as he's been using it, his acne has disappeared, and the scars are getting lighter and lighter each day or each week that I'm noticing. So on this picture on November 11th, you can see that the scars are a lot less noticeable, and he's feeling a lot better about himself.
Ruth, can you share how much is your son using and what products?
Oh, he's using, he's taking 4 ounces of ASEA a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. And then I'm rubbing the Renew 28 on his back.
Just once a day or twice?
Twice a day, yeah.
And how much are you using?
I'm using, so right now, because there's there's a cold going around our family, I'm using like 12 ounces a day, but I normally use 8 ounces.
Okay, thank you. And so I'll share a little bit about my story. When I came into this, I came in last August, and Marion Palmer introduced me to it. And I was having a lot of stress in my system. My lungs were weak, I wasn't breathing very well, and I was recovering from a hernia surgery. As I started using the Redox, I noticed I had more stamina right away and clearer thinking, and the pain was really minimized from my nerve endings coming back online post-surgery. And my breathing is continuing to improve. I went to my naturopath in September on the 17th, and she did a magnification of my blood. And what I was fascinated with is I didn't think it looked very healthy. And she said that I had some room to go. But the white spots that are larger were showing inflammation, and the little tiny specks of white were, my adrenals were very weak. So I went back on December 9th, and there was quite a big difference. So my adrenals have become balanced, but I still have some inflammation that I'm still working with my lungs. But I was really pleased to see, and my naturopath was pretty surprised with how quickly my blood was starting to show these results. So I liked seeing what was happening on the inside. This is one of our friends, Barbara Stoltz, and she had an amazing experience when she went in for Mohs surgery in March of 2019 to remove some cell dividing growth. She used the Redox technology. She said she proudly displayed it there in the hospital, and it really sped up her recovery. She said she only had 1 day of pain and no cosmetic surgery afterwards. And then she's also submitted a picture of herself just recently in November. And she says most people don't even notice that she has a scar. And she's just so grateful for this product.
And in this picture on the top right, you can see that in just 21 days, the wrinkles on this woman's face have greatly reduced. And the man on the bottom, he applied half of Renew 28 to one side of his face and nothing on the other. And as you can see, you can see a difference. And his wife said that you need to start doing it on both sides because someone's going to think you have a stroke. And in the middle picture on the heels, there's a cracked heel. And in just 48 hours using the Renew 28, you can see an incredible difference. And then after a week, there's even more of a difference. And then on the far left, the lady has some bags under her eyes and there's a line around her mouth. And as she's been using the Renew 28, her face is much firmer and the bags are reduced, and so is the line.
And this is Rosie. Rosie didn't think that the product was doing anything for her externally. Fortunately, her son had taken a picture of her before she started using the product when she's 84. And as you can see, in 7 weeks, there was quite a pronounced difference. And on the furthest picture on the right, at 91, Rosie has actually reversed aging. She is pretty incredible, and she is my inspiration. This also works very well with anything that has cells, so animals as well as plants, though I don't have any pictures of plants yet. I love Yanni Feliciano's testimony because she has a horse that showed up with looked kind of like a mole on the side of its face, and it was growing very quickly. When she got a hold of her vet came out and said, this really needs to have a biopsy and it needs to be treated with a laser surgery, and that it was very, very aggressive. And so they didn't want to disturb it, but the surgery couldn't be scheduled right away. So the vet did give permission for her to use the Renew 28, which Yanni did. And in August, then she saw that the mole or the growth was starting to come up off of the face. So she contacted the vet. The vet came out and took the sample and sent it off. And sure enough, the lab results came back that it was the aggressive condition, but they still didn't get it scheduled. So she just kept applying the Renew 28. In October, they contacted her to schedule this surgery. And she says, well, do I need to? Because he's completely healed up and the hair's even grown back. The vet was in disbelief and came out and brought another vet with him. And they took pictures and they did a complete evaluation. And they said, this is incredible. It would not look this good if you had followed through with our recommendations. They said that a horse's hair, it does not grow back on scar tissue. It won't grow back quite if it grew back at all. And this horse doesn't even have scar tissue. So she was so grateful. She was able to save so much money and not do the recommended treatment.
And this horse came in with a 4-inch long jagged wound, and it was too late to do any stitching. And so what Beth Wofford did was to spray the Redox onto the wound. And the first photo was taken at 24 hours, and at 5 days, at 10 days, and at 16 days. And you can see the miraculous healing that took place by just spraying the Redox liquid onto this horse's wound. And it was done, the healing was done in just a fraction of the time that it normally takes. It's pretty amazing.
I also wanted to share this sister site with you for you to write that down. And I'm wondering, maybe Marion, you could put those 2 sites in the chat for people could copy them if they'd like. There's realredoxresults.com, where there's a lot of testimonials, and realredoxresults.biz. They both have the password of Redox. So what Ruth and I would like to do is we've made that decision to help bring this technology to our communities through connecting people with more resources and education. So I'm really pleased to get to introduce you to Jerry White, who has extensive experience with physical therapy. He's the head research physical therapist at Shriners Hospital. He was the founder of the Shriners Human Performance and Gait Analysis LAB, an adjunct professor for biomechanics and physiology, and he's also a swim and triathlon coach. He serves on the ASEA Medical Board as an ASEA Ambassador Diamond, and he is a member of the ASEA Millionaires Club. So Jerry, let me hand it over to you. Oh, you're on mute, Jerry.
There you go. All of those things, and you got to be able to read the little prompter that says unmute your microphone. Oh, well, you know, we can only have so much space in our head, and then stuff starts to fall out your ears. Well, what's interesting is as I saw this material, I was cruising along through life and I was really, really, really busy. I did not have enough time to come home and see the kids. And to my shame, there was about 30 days out of a 1 month particularly where I went to work before the kids woke up, came home before they went to bed for 30 days in a row. And I just had to search my soul. My oldest son, in fact, the one that introduced us to Marion Palmer when he was in kindergarten, he came to me when he was 9 years old and he said, "Dad, why is it that you can go down to that hospital and play with everybody else's kids, and if you ever come home, there's no time for us?" And so I had this in the back of my head that I got to change. I've got to do something else. I had lots of years of schooling. I had some really fascinating stuff I did, but I was working and doing with other people's families. And although that made a difference, it really left the ones I loved the most alone a lot. So a few years after that, it was kind of had that restlessness in my soul and got introduced to this. And it really has turned out to be the most remarkable technology in my experience in the history of biology. In fact, we're even getting people who are saying this is as big as the discovery as human DNA and antibiotics. It's a signaling mechanism that allows the body and the cells within the body to understand exactly what's going on in their world. We didn't know how the cells took in all the information they take in. How do they plan to correct a situation? And since the DNA is the same in every cell in your body, what was going on with this aging thing? Well, there's a lot of research. Tens of thousands of papers have been written recently in the last 10 to 12 years on this idea that the cells have a kind of a separate nervous system that runs the energy production in the cell, but it also operates to understand all the parameters that make it aware of what's going on in your life. As you get older, you start to lose, interestingly, we start to lose those readers and interpreters and letters of the alphabet that made it so amazing that when you were in the embryo, you could build an entire human being with the same DNA that you have today in every single cell. And we didn't know why they were turning off. We now know it's with age and stress and drugs and lifestyle and all of these different aspects are causing us to start to lose about 1% per decade. These materials are called redox signaling molecules, and those redox signaling molecules are available to us now in a bottle. You can drink it. You can look something like this, and it affects the major gene systems that are observing what's going on in your moment by moment lives. And we found that with taking that over an 8-week period, your cells begin to start to turn up and turn on the understanding of these genes, and they share with others. That to me has been absolutely miraculous. We're seeing things with neurologic conditions. I know Mary Kidder's here, and she was having stumbling problems and memory problems and had to actually quit work because of memory. And it's remarkable how her body did a kind of a U-turn. And usually as we get older, we start to decline. And all she's been doing is getting taller and better looking. So that's amazing. Way to go, Mary. So once we get compelled about this information, we start to find that we ask ourselves, who would this be useful for? I want you to search yourself when I ask you this question. Who do you know that's aging? Anybody? Well, the fact is, from the day you're born, you start to show these tendencies toward aging. And we're getting some pretty nasty stuff that's showing up as we live longer and longer that we just don't do very well in medicine. But when we can add back this supplemental communication system, surprisingly, the cells start to do things they haven't done since you were in the embryo. It is really kind of the ultimate fountain of youth. You saw that in some of those pictures. But also it changes the inside as well, so you don't creak so much. Everybody just kind of just hold your breath and relax a little bit, and then exhale, and then try to move. And if anything creaks, you're getting older. Darn it. And even if it doesn't creak, if you look in the mirror and something's wrinkled, you're aging. And the reason is because the cells are trying to last too long before they make new replacements. Surprisingly, when you're a little kid, they made new replacements within 14 days. Everything in your skin turned over and made new replacements. So they were fresh and ready to go. By the time we're in our 90s and 80s, we lose up to 90% of the signaling characters, and we can spend, instead of 14 days, 114 days before the cells kind of get a clue. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to make a new one. And so it takes forever for it to figure it out. Well, we're now being able to turn that clock back. So what we've come here to do today is to inform you. And if you listen to the heartfelt stories of people, we pulled this from medical consideration because it was so safe. It didn't require going through a drug study. It was just classified as a supplement. And although we can't claim that it can diagnose or treat or cure or anything or heal anything, well, what I know in my personal experience as a coach and parent, an athlete, a physical therapist, and one who's looked at the sickest people in the world and the fittest people in the world, it's my considered scientific opinion that if you're going to get better from anything, there's only two things that'll actually do the job when it's all said and done. One is the Lord, the other one is your body. And if we can enhance the ability of the body to know what to do, to be aware of its current conditions instead of being confused and not getting the right information, it's literally changing the landscape of all of it. At this point then, we saw so many changes in our family that my wife, who was having difficulty just trying to run a 5K, which is 3 miles, and at the end of a triathlon, she actually was having so much trouble breathing all the time that my daughters had to ride in a bike next to her on the races and sing worship songs so she couldn't hear herself breathing because it was freaking herself out. People would actually stop and ask her if she needed to use their inhalers. Well, now she had another problem going on. Maybe somebody like this. When you go to get your Washington State license for driver's license, well, some of you probably never did get a Washington State license for driver's license if you live in Colorado or something. But when we go here, it's every 5 years. And if you have glasses, you have to take your picture with glasses on if you can't read the chart properly. And so for 20 years, she had to wear glasses in her license picture. And all of a sudden this last year, after taking this for a number of years, first time she's ever been able to pass the driver's test with no requirement for glasses. And not only can she run 3 miles, but she just completed a full distance Ironman competition, 2.5 mile swim in the open water at 63 years old, followed by a 112 mile bike ride and a 26 mile Olympic marathon run. So what we've determined is that we want to live a life that is so much healthier that we embarrass our friends. And you wear out 2 sets of friends before lunchtime, and then you have to put them to bed and go find some other ones because these people just can't keep up. So that's our goal in one aspect, is to be so healthy we're done with us. And to be able to gather together with a group of people and make a team that can begin to start to do amazing things good for people. Realizing that there's so much change in how we make money, there's so many changes in inflation and all that stuff, that if we work together, we can figure out where things are going instead of where they came from. So that's been my joy. And over the years, if I was to go back to what I did with working 40 hours in the lab, or in clinical practice at the hospital, 20 hours in the lab, teaching 3 classes at the university, commuting up to 60 miles a day on a bike, and building this 3,000 square foot log house by hand on weekends and evenings. If I went back to that, I would have to burn all that time again. But we got so efficient at helping people find how to work together as teams, it would have to work for 17 years to make what we made last year. And I wasn't really focusing on making money. What I was focusing on was finding that spark of humanity in people, that sense that we're too lonely, we need to come together. And when we have something that matters and we work on it, we can accomplish anything we want. So we came here to tell you that. We have some spots. I just was checking. There's a couple of extra chairs at the table if anybody would like to be a part of what we do. And what the heck, we can always get more chairs. It doesn't take much. We want you to just consider it. Alan Noble told you on that video. It's a couple of simple steps. For some of you, just simply want to take this information, maybe share it with somebody that you care about. Some of you may want to get this and really, really use it and find out. We recommend that you get enough to get for 3 months, because that's when it really starts to show up. You know, what we're all really doing is we're asking our body to go back to working on healing itself. And guess what? That takes time. It takes a lot less time as you see some of those things like that cracked heel. You ever had one of those? Every time you take a step, it opens up again. It's miraculous kind of stuff. So it can be much, much faster, much, much better. And I always used to wake up in the middle of the night because my wife had heels like that. And she'd scrape them across the sheets and it sounded like somebody was taking a cheese grater to the window. Now she's got nice smooth heels and I can sleep through the night. So whatever is important to you, you might be able to find something that will work well. And then there's the other people who say, you know what, I want to live a higher life. I want to live a much better life. So we want to knock off the things that are in our way, maybe make a few extra dollars to pay for these. And that's something that we can certainly get you started with. It doesn't take much. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Gloria. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you, Jerry. What I would like to do, though, while you're still with us, is open up for any questions that people might have. And so if you have a question, would you be willing to just raise your hand or unmute yourself? Let me see here.
And Marilee and Jonah Bell, I don't see your pictures there. So I did see an elbow move across the screen. And I know that many of the people here, let's watch and see, do we have anybody that's going to ask a question? I'm always impressed with people who ask questions, but you have to push unmute first.
Well, Jerry, I have a question. This is Mary Kidder.
Mary Kidder, one of the finest people I know. Yes.
Thank you. I have a person who is going into radiation. She's gone through chemo, and of course she's lost all her hair, but now her father is concerned about her surviving the radiation. I need your opinion on how
old is she?
She's about 30.
That's tough. You know, that's tough. We sure hate to see that kind of stuff going on. But what we can tell you is that when we look at burns in general, it's a real popular thing to do to spread this over the top, use the liquid spray it on. We know that between the emitter that is putting out the radiation and the target over here, there's tissues, there's natural normal tissues that are there. And if they get damaged by burning in the process, we'd love to stop that burn, and we'd love to kind of keep things going, because we don't want the body to, we want the body to take as little effort to try to get through all this as it can, because it's working so hard to work with the doctors to do what the doctors are doing, that you can kind of get to the point where you're so low on your vital energy that guys like that dad are really worried about it. So what I would recommend that she does is immediately after coming back from getting her radiation, it won't tend to feel like it's burned, but we can maybe put this on, and we've seen some pretty crazy things with burns, and stop it from burning deeper, maybe help that discomfort. It could be a really, really, really big adjunct to her. Other things may happen as well that are positive. As we put together the skills of the doctor with the skills of this, you might see some really amazing stuff. So I would also encourage very strongly that she's drinking up to 16 ounces a day of this. And then if something gets really, really, really better, we'll go, aren't those doctors amazing?
Thank you, Jerry.
Anyone else have a question?
Marion, you had your hand up?
I was going to talk about the one that Mary brought up, and I had said that people that I know, sometimes it helps so that they're not as nauseous and they just feel better in the recuperation.
Yep, that's what we claim.
The burn, that's a beautiful picture of what's happening, though. I hadn't seen that before.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
So Meryl E. and Jonah Bell are on here as well, and glad to have you, and Maru, I think that's it. So any questions that you have, what we would do if we were personally there, if we would ask if somebody has something that's uncomfortable or doesn't move right. So if you'd like, you can turn around to your neighbor and maybe smack them upside of the head with a board or push them down the stairs or something. And then you'd have something uncomfortable that you could practice putting this on. You're, yeah, Marilee, if you're trying to talk, there you go. I got you. You can talk now.
When are you planning to come here in Sacramento?
Well, you know what? Since you dressed up for me, within the next 2 weeks, I'll tell you. Let's see. We've got Christmas coming up next week, right?
Yeah.
How about between that and the first of the year? So I'll give you something a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ahead to know. But I want to get on that real quickly and get down there, because when you and Jonah Bell are doing this work for me, I better be nice to you.
So after New Year, correct?
Maybe between, well, yeah, probably a little bit after, but right around in there. So
Okay, just give us notice ahead of time.
Are you making cookies with those gloves?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm cleaning.
I know I was going to have you pass them around if you were making cookies. I mean, that would just make the meeting all the better.
When you come here.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, back to you, Coach.
All right, well, I want to thank everybody for taking time to be here tonight, and encourage you to reach out to the person that invited you here to follow up with any questions, or to get any more information, or to get the support you need for your next steps. And so thank you again for your time, and we'll send out another notice when there's going to be another meeting. We'd love to have you.
I'm
join
coming
us.
back. I had a good time. The rest of you are invited too.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.